All right, welcome to Passive Prospecting, YouTube for Real Estate, where today what are we discussing today, Chrissy?
Your favorite video creation hacks.
Oh my goodness, my favorite video creation hacks.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. Well, I did not prepare anything. I'll just warn you. I feel like I've been on Zoom for 2 days straight, and that's pretty much it. It's a good thing that I block out for filming because you just wouldn't get it done. If you try to film in between your schedule, you'll never do it. And so I literally have to block half day on Wednesday and then Friday mornings. If I want to do miscellaneous content, might just shoot some ads we're working on, or maybe an office video or something like that. But Wednesday is non-negotiable. So that's my first hack. Let's start with that. My first hack, I would say, is you have to time block for creating content. Period. This world is way too crazy. Yesterday I was on 9 Zooms. All right, throughout the day. 9 Zooms. My last one was at 6 p.m. and I started at 10 in the morning. So at least I had a little bit of buffer in the morning. It just went back to back. I literally would eat lunch right here at my desk. I would go off camera for 20 minutes on a Zoom and sit there. And luckily it was a part where I didn't have to be on camera. So yeah, Mondays, here's what I do. Let me tell my schedule, which really coincides with, scheduling out content. And actually I made a reel about this on my Instagram. You could go back and I kind of walk you through my week real quick and you'll just see. But I try to reserve Mondays and Thursdays for meetings or Zoom days. Really, Mondays and Thursdays are my Zoom days. And that's a lot of meetings I have with the team and, things that we talk about. But for me, if I'm heading up, some aspect of the business and we have 3 different companies, then I just like Mondays, because I want to check in. I think meetings are mostly easy, other than once you go through 8 or 9 of them in one day. And I think I just like to kick off the week, especially with the team, get some good direction, check in, make sure everyone's still alive from the weekend. And then, okay, let's get some direction over the next couple of days. Thursday, we get a check in and say, okay, what have we done over the last couple of days? And what do we have to focus on the rest of the day, tomorrow? And do we need to wrap up anything over the weekend? Now we don't force any of our team to work on weekends. I mean, we pretty much work normal business hours. I would say our employees, I don't know, our executive team is, they're always available, which I love, but we don't even tell them, hey, you have to, work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I had a conversation with Carlos on Sunday. And it's nice. It's nice to be able to, because sometimes when you're free, if you're taking Sunday to go to church and brunch, and my dad was in town, so we went to downtown Dallas, and just some different things like that. And sometimes when I had those free days, things just are popping in my head. And I was like, something I wanted to talk to Carlos about. I was kind of excited, but I just didn't want to wait till Monday. Plus, I was really kind of looking for his perspective first. And then I can always bring that up on the team meeting on Monday. But, it's good to be able to reach out. And, Carlos is happy to answer the phone on Sunday. And we chatted for like 20 minutes. So it's not like it's a big deal. And that's cool. I can call Chrissy anytime. It's funny because we work off of WhatsApp a lot. Mainly that's Chrissy's fault for having the only Android in the group. And otherwise we could do nice group text on iPhones with blue bubbles. But since Chrissy has an Android, we have to do stuff on WhatsApp. But the rule is kind of like, no one's required to respond on WhatsApp after hours. During business hours, we want responses. We're definitely looking for responses. But after hours, not so much. If I message on a Saturday, and the team knows if I put something in there, you're welcome to respond to it on Monday. But actually, a lot of our team, they respond anyways all the time. And we just go back and forth. But I've messaged WhatsApp at 11 p.m. sometimes. And I'm like, all right, I'll just throw something out to Chrissy real quick so she can check it in the morning. Well, she'll respond like 5 minutes later. Okay, yeah, okay, I'll do that right now. And I'm like, no, I don't know, I don't need it. She's like, no, I'm up anyways. I'm like, she's like, kids are in bed, husband's in bed, and I was up doing work anyways. I'm just like, all right, okay, well, suit yourself. But so we depend on each other. But Mondays and Thursdays are Zoom days, and if you're if you're real estate in production, you need to look at where you can schedule accordingly. So if you have standing meetings, with your team, or if you don't have a team, just depending on what it is, I mean, you need to schedule things out. If you have to lead generate right now, other than YouTube, you need to put that in your calendar. Is that 9 to 11 in the morning? Is it 5 to 7 in the evening? And those would probably be the two best times if you're going to be, making some calls or calling back clients or things like that. And you block that out. Do you want to go have lunch meetings with, one or two people each week? Try to schedule that out, set that up a week in advance. If you have showings that week or listing appointments, that should definitely be in your calendar. And if you're going to be doing showings, you should block in your calendar. And ultimately, the week before, at least no later than Sunday night, you should have your whole week scheduled out. But me, I have reoccurring meetings that happen every single week. So typically 80% of my calendar is full all the time. And then if things pop up, I get, podcast requests, speaking opportunities, private consultations, consultation. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And they have to find the gaps. But my assistant knows that she can only schedule during times at certain times and certain days, Mondays and Thursdays. Maybe if it's a rare occasion, we'll throw it in on a Friday or something like that. But otherwise, my schedule really becomes non-negotiable. And I live by my schedule because it makes it easy. I don't have to guess. If it's already filled out for the whole week, and including filming content, because guess what? If I have Wednesday afternoon blocked for filming content, we used to do it on Fridays, but when we went out in the neighborhoods, it seemed Friday was trash day everywhere, right? So we just kind of, actually it was more Alex. Alex was the one that he was tired of droning and, driving footage, and, there's always trash cans all over the place. So we're like, okay, let's do Wednesdays. Although now we've learned Wednesday is apparently lawn day, because every time we go out on Wednesdays, everyone's getting their lawn mowed. And so we're like, okay, but Wednesday afternoons, we're just going to block that. And I'm going to block the whole afternoon, even though, look, we may be able to knock it out within 2 hours. I kind of like that freedom. I kind of like that. Hey, if we can knock it out 2 or 3 hours and I get a couple of hours to myself, or to come home at 3 p.m. on Wednesday and not have another meeting or something after that, I like that. But Wednesday's a non-negotiable. It's for filming content. And maybe I'm not going to be out in the neighborhood. I'm going to do an office video, but regardless, it's blocked, for there. Tuesdays are like my live days, where we do live stuff. We do this live podcast. I just got off of a 2-hour live webinar. And before that, I did a 2.5-hour training. We're going through a 6-week training program right now with EXP that we're conducting. And because we're the only EXP, or the only YouTube program, you can say, approved with EXP. And now they're launching their premium coaching platform. And so, of course, we're a part of that. And we're the first ones to launch inside of that platform. And we've been doing a 6-week course with them. This was week 2. So that's 2.5 hours, Tuesday in the morning. And then I turn around. I had like a 20-minute break where I scarfed down a couple of tacos and then did a 2-hour webinar. And then I had about 20 minutes. My brother was over here to see my kid. I got to hang out with him for like 20 minutes, and then I'm back here. And but I knew, I was like, that's what I was like. He didn't come here to see me anyways, right? So I'm not worried about it. But anyways, so we'll do this, and so Tuesdays are kind of like live days, but they run a lot back to back to back, and it's a lot. I can tell my voice is already kind of a little going a little raspy, but that's okay. We'll make it, and we'll be all good by tomorrow. Tomorrow, I look forward to filming. Thursdays are more meetings, and then Friday is blocked for content or miscellaneous add-ins. Might be some consultations. I can actually squeeze in a haircut, maybe, something like that. So video creation hack, I don't know, block the time, I guess. And maybe that doesn't have to do with video creation. I would say it does, but block the time on there. Number two is have your research, laid out, ready to go, or do the proper research. I guess you could say do the proper research, but then have it ready to go. It's interesting. You got to think of different ways that fit with you and your personality and how you work. I mean, if you want to say, okay, I'm going to record a video in an hour, or I'm going to block 2 hours, I'm going to take an hour to research, and then I'm going to record over that next hour. You could do that. And maybe you like to do it because it's fresh. You just went through some research, made some bullet points or some talking points, and then you just want to record your video and knock it out. Okay, we'll do it that way. Maybe you want to record, or maybe you want to do your research a day in advance or 2 days in advance, or maybe you want to do it in the mornings before everyone else wakes up and it's not crowded and noisy and everything like that around the house. I don't know. And then you'll do it later on. But get in some sort of system for that as well, as far as when am I going to research and then when am I going to publish or record. So I can tell I've been talking way too much now. I'm mixing up all my words. All right, so let me recenter and get back to focus. So think about that as well. Blocking time for filming, but you also need a little extra time for researching your content. Now, if you plan to just go out and wing it, I mean, you can wing it out in some of these neighborhoods, even as we hit up new construction quite a bit, which we've been doing that. I realized I went back and I was looking, I think the first, new construction tour we did on our channel was January of 2023. So we've been at it for a year and a half on these new construction communities and tours and things like that. A lot of people are doing new construction now as well, following suit, which is fine. We expect that to happen. So no big deal. And we're seeing some with a lot of good success out there focusing on these new construction communities. So it's super cool to be able to bring something like that, to the, into the marketplace, you could say, for people to model, which is amazing. So, looking back to there, a lot of times I'll go into these communities, these new construction communities, and go talk to all the builders and just go in there first time and just go 1, 2, 3. If there's 3 model homes or if there's 2, I'll go in there, chat with the builders. They're happy to chat and tell me everything I need to know. I'll make some notes. I take some notes on my phone, write it down on the fly, and then that's about it. And then I'll walk outside and I'll be like, all right, Alex, he'll be like, I droned over here, droned over there. And I'll be like, cool. What's the cool spot to start in? Or we'll start over there. Or we'll start with this model home. We just kind of plan it out and go from there. And so we don't do a ton of pre-work, you could say, on the communities, because I like to get the information, because also it changes, they might have different incentives. They might have a number of lots left, things like that. So it's just, I like to hear it straight from the builders, and then I can just go out and kind of regurgitate that information. Plus, I know I'm getting pretty much the most up-to-date and accurate information I can, versus sometimes these websites are not always up to date or up to speed as we go on there. So that would be one way to wing it. I mean, if I'm going to do an office video, I'm going to do some research. But also, if I say, hey, I want to make a pros and cons, it might be as simple as just me jotting down my pros and cons, again, because it's my viewpoints and my opinions. And so, that I can pretty much wing that as well. Now, if I want to do something a lot more extensive or have more data in there, I'll just take the time making those bullet points and I write that down as well. And then I'll follow the format. But also, screen sharing or map or market reports, things like that I can easily walk through, but I will definitely have those pulled up ahead of time. If I'm going to be talking about different articles coming up, I'll have those tabs open on my computer so it's easy to navigate. So, I mean, proper preparation, you could say, proper preparation for passive prospecting. Is that what we should say? Then that's what you want to do as well. So that's very simple to do. Takes a few extra minutes, but if you don't want to do it right before your video, then block some other time, maybe in the morning when it's nice and quiet, or kids are still asleep, or whatever the case may be. And, do your pre-work there and your research on there. So that would be number 2. And then number 3, let's say if you get into actually filming, then always smile before you start filming. So when you look at that camera, just put a big old smile on your face. All right. And maybe even before that a little bit, if you're getting a little worked up, if you're going, okay, I don't really feel like recording this video right now. Okay. Tony Robbins always says, change your state, right? Stand up, move around, smile. I don't know, whatever you got to do. Go look in the mirror and say, I like myself. That's old Brian Tracy tactics, right? I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. Okay. Well, I've never done that, but really I'll just start to sit down, get in front of that camera and smile. And then it's like, and you definitely want to start your video out that way. And what I have to be mindful of is that I don't let that smile disappear. It's because sometimes whenever I get talking and into the flow, I kind of go back to my natural resting B face. And I don't know if you want that on your videos. I've been told sometimes I can look intimidating in my resting B face. All right. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to be, so it's, maybe it's the old Viking side of my heritage. And, but otherwise, if I smile, then, most people tend to smile too. Or if they're watching video and you're kind of smiling and talking, or it look like you're enjoying or having fun, then they'll kind of pick up on that as well. So something as I sit down, I want to look at that camera. And even if I'm kind of like, I'll just put my shoulders back, smile, and then like, so you're thinking about moving to Dallas, Texas. And then it just it sets the tone. It sets it off right there. It changes your state and you can get right into some flow. So, Chrissy, you're sitting there in the background. I didn't even come back to you to ask on those first 3 tips there. All right. Blocking time and pre-work and smiling. So anything you'd like to add in on those?
Well, and I think when you're doing your videos, you also have to be a little bit larger than your actual personality too, because I feel like the camera takes away like 30% of your energy. And so you really have to give a little bit extra when you're putting the energy onto the camera. This is something that I ran into when I was helping my husband with his first videos. He's already kind of reserved as it is, but when he thought he was being his loudest self, it was coming across as like quiet, muted, like very low energy. And I had to be like, you have to add extra energy to your movement, to your voice. You have to add extra excitement, because if you go a little bit over the top of what you would normally feel comfortable with, it's going to look normal on camera. So I would definitely say, along with all that preparation, also prepare the mindset to just be a little bit larger than life, because otherwise it will come off a little bit bland on camera most of the time.
Yeah, someone said once, I heard him say, U times 2. Now that could be a little extreme, U times 2, but I've always said, it's funny because Micah said that when we were in Vegas. Micah was like, what did he say? Be 110%. But I think I equated that to, they say the camera adds 10 pounds, but it sucks, 10% of your 50% of your energy, right? So so be mindful. Yes, the camera adds 10 pounds, but it sucks 50% of your energy. So even though you may be normal, it can appear less energetic on camera. And so you want to be a little bit more mindful. And so, and then if you are a little shy and you you got to be mindful of that too. Do you all of a sudden talk lower whenever you go to record video, or whisper, or you're like, I don't want anybody to hear me. So, those types of things. You just got to be you times 2 or you times 1.5. I don't know, whatever the correct equation is. So, let's see, video creation hacks.
Another one I would say, though, to go back to your planning ahead, I would also say plan ahead on kind of the high level things that you're going to be talking about, but I would be cautious to over plan to the point where you're robotic, because that is a problem that a lot of people, they get out there and they're so scripted. It's like they feel like they have to follow this Word document word for word. I've seen people have to take 40 takes because of that. I would say when you're planning ahead, do it on the high level topics of like, I'm going to go to this house. This is the house price. This is how many square feet. I'm going to go to town square. I'm going to feature this place, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't go in with exact verbiage aside from maybe the thing that you say at the very beginning of like your hook and your intro that's kind of the same. Like if you're going to move in 9 days or 90 days, you know, that type of thing can be a little bit scripted, but I would be cautious to script it too much or to over plan or overthink it. Because if you over analyze it and you overthink it, you tend to strive for perfection. And that usually is what stops people from actually getting on YouTube, is just going for perfection. And I definitely wouldn't do that. So allow yourself to make some mistakes, allow yourself to kind of just go with the flow. But, you know, the high level stuff, definitely plan ahead on that.
Yeah. Let me see here. What, oh, no, let me go back to, yeah, I was trying to pull that down. What's your link right there? challenge.passiveprospecting.com. Would you like to tell us what that is?
Yeah, we've got a 5-day challenge coming up next week. We're going to be walking people through how to start their YouTube channel, how to optimize their YouTube channel, and how to create the content that makes your YouTube channel generate leads. And so if that sounds interesting to you, no matter where you're at in your YouTube journey, this is something that can help you take your lead count to the next level. It's how we generated, you know, over $100,000 in less than 100 days, in our first 100 days on YouTube. And so definitely recommend that no matter where you are at in your YouTube journey. That will be happening next week. And we do not have another one of these on the calendar for a while. So as of right now, we don't have any more of these challenges on the calendar. So it's definitely not to be missed.
Yeah, so challenge.passiveprospecting.com. We're going to be, 5-day challenge, 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, hard and heavy, rocking and rolling. So it's going to be fast and furious. We can't say that. So looking forward to that. Let me see. I had my next tip and then I lost it. I forgot.
Because I interrupted you.
I was ready to go on that. Let me see. Let me think back to, why don't you share one of your video creation hacks, and let me come back to mine.
Yeah, well, honestly, a lot of the ones that you shared are kind of the ones that I like to go with as well. But as far as just from a production standpoint, I would also begin with the end in mind when you're creating your content, because a lot of times it kind of goes back to the idea of planning ahead with things. You do have to kind of have your purpose very, very clear when you go in. And I would keep it very, very niched down to exactly the one topic that you're talking about that day. I see a lot of people who they get so excited and they want to create longer videos. And so they'll try to combine maybe their map video and their vlog video and their pros and cons video, and they do one big long video. And typically that does not really hit very well with the audience. The more niched down and purpose driven you can be, it's going to make it less confusing to the audience, because anytime you confuse your audience, that's when you lose them. And so if you can keep it very, very focused, just like what you would with an HGTV episode of House Hunters. Levi's been on House Hunters, so he knows this very, very well. When you go in, you know what the beginning and the end goal of that video is. There's never going to be a point in the video where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where this video is going. We're not looking at a drama. We're looking at information-based material. And so when that comes to that, people are looking for that type of close and that type of gratification at the end, that they know at the very beginning of the video what they're going to get out of the end of the video. So just begin with the end in mind when you're creating your content and keep it very purpose driven. Don't start chasing shiny objects in your videos. Just stick with the program, stick with exactly the different types, the pillars of content that we talk about, and your videos will be a lot more successful than trying to add 1,000 things into one video.
Yeah. Yeah, and that did remind me too, you talked about intros, and that's what I was going to recommend, is that, memorizing a little bit of that intro / call to action, that your hook should always be a little bit different. Your hook should always be a little bit different, and then you should transition into your intro call to action. And if you have that memorized, it's just going to help you flow through a lot better on your video and really kind of move into the information after that. Because I think so many people, if they stumble through the beginning, that's where frustration sets in. That's where, you might start thinking about quitting. And it's hard to keep that energy and enthusiasm and happiness through your video too, if you had to go through 20 takes or, you screwed it up. We were just on a training earlier and the guy said, what did he say? He said he went through like 50 times on his first video. He's like, how are you so smooth? I'm like, well, I've just done it so many times. You didn't see me the first few times, but really I practiced and I memorized my beginning section of my intro and call to action. And then I winged the rest of it. But because I did that before I ever got on camera, whenever I hit record for the first time, I still messed it up once or twice, but that was about it. And I got into flow, and it was much easier than just, okay, let me hit record and now try to work through all of this. Because something else, when you hit record, I don't know, it zaps a couple of brain cells sometimes. And then you're like, oh, wait a second, I forget, wait, how was I going to do this? Or, so it's interesting to, in a fun way. And I've seen the best of the best do this as well, especially some of the top influencers and creators out there. I've been in the rooms with them as they record, and it's funny because they'll be like, okay, hit record, and they'll, they'll stop and be like, no, you know what? I'll actually, let me redo that. And then boom. And sometimes even their first go at it messes up, but then they stop and they say, okay, okay, and they can course correct so fast and without discouragement, without delay, without another 50 takes. So, and I do this a lot now too. A lot of times I think things through in my head, and I'll just try to start that way. I know others that are kind of scripting their whole intro and then they kind of free flow from there. So really there's so many different ways that you could do this, and it really just depends on what fits your style. I've always been more of a freestyler, and that's what I like. But again, the hook and the intro, or the intro and the call to action, is something that, I could say off the top of my head at any time now. And I memorized that over 3 years ago, and now, we had kind of backed away from that a little bit again. But as we mentioned on a couple of podcast episodes ago, after seeing the Hermosi video, it just kind of reinforced what we were doing was really right all along. And maybe we should go back into incorporating that a lot more. So, there's just certain aspects to that. But if you practice before you press record on certain pieces, of the video, that'll just make it a lot smoother transition. And again, this is going to take place in the initial phases of your journey. I mean, I hope after you knock out 10, 20, 30 videos, you have a level of improvement that is far past the beginning, and you have a lot more comfort with it, and you can just operate a lot smoother from there. And that's really the goal. It's just getting in the reps, creating the muscle memory, and the rest of it will, take shape from there. And then it'll be easy to pivot, easier to create content. You'll have more ideas, be more creative. And it's just it gets easier, just like with anything does with time, if you stay consistent with it. Right. So, I mentioned this earlier in the previous training that, if you go to the gym once a week, I mean, you're going to feel it. You're going to be probably not looking forward to go once a week. And then you're going to be sore afterwards severely for a couple of days. And it's different. If you go 2 or 3 times a week, you're probably giving yourself a better chance to build more muscle, lose more weight, be less sore, all those types of things. And so it's the same with video. If you record 1 video a week, when that day comes up, you might start talking yourself out of it, start getting worked up. And then after you do it, 2 things. Either you feel stressed out about it, or I always feel a great sense of accomplishment. It's like, for me, if I knock out a couple of videos or these big trainings, it's like going into the EXP challenge today. I knew that was going to be 2.5 hours. And then I know I've got another 2 hours after that. And then I know I've got this. And so I can't go into that in the beginning and be looking at, even though I know Chrissy said start with the end in mind, but at the same time, when you have something like this, and sometimes you don't want to think about the end part there. I mean, you are thinking about it. I'm trying to say this in a different way though, but you know what I mean? I don't want to look at, okay, I'm going to sit down for 2 hours and that's what I have blocked, and I've got to do my research. So yes, you're trying to think to the end game of your video, but you don't want to look at that time slot as overwhelming or so much to do. And I can't look at that. I'm not going to turn out a good training program for somebody if I'm already discouraged or defeated at the very beginning, And so I just know that, hey, I've got to start this challenge and I got to be pretty similar on my, if not better at the end. I need to have more energy and be more enthusiastic at the end of that, because guess what? I got to get them prepped and excited for next week and to come back and to, do their homework and to, make sure they show up. And I think we had 100% retention from last week. So that was pretty cool. And we had great retention all the way through, I think, until Q&A. We didn't lose anybody until Q&A, of course. And we went a little over. And the same thing, started the second training right after that. I got about a 20-minute break. And I was just like, all right, it's enough time to reset. But I already know what my day is going to happen. Tomorrow when we film, I already know that's going to be time out and about. And we've got to do a little recon and go out to the community and check it out. And, so I just got to, you got to be ready and prepared for that. And just make the most of it and have fun. I mean, for me, I can't wait to get out and film tomorrow because I feel like I've been in the office. Like yesterday, I ran outside, after 9 Zoom calls. I'm like, get me outside, give me some sunlight, give me some fresh air. And that's what I did on these last 2 breaks. I had to go outside. I grabbed my lunch, went outside, ate it outside, breathe in the fresh air. And I'm like, all right, I'm going back in the trenches. But creating content is not as intense as what I'm doing right now. Okay. You're just looking at trying to film 1 video or 2 videos a week. All right. So it should be, don't let that get in your head. Just take action on it. And let's see here. Moving to Northern Virginia, he says, what is the full link to the challenge? Do you want to put that? Oh, you put that. Never mind.
I did.
Gotcha. There you go.
Challenge.passiveprospecting.com for people who are listening.
You got it. All right, I was getting some text messages. Someone's trying to get me on another meeting, but I'm not. I'm here. All right. So the thing is that I don't know. I think I really want to say I don't know if there's the hack is doing the work when it comes down to it. The hack is just doing the work, and when you do the work, you get better at something over time. It's time on task over time. That's what it is. Time on task over time. That's the formula for success. Some people will see that sooner. Some people will see it a little bit later. But I know the ones that won't see it are the ones that quit, period. And so we've seen somebody as soon as their first video get a lead 13 hours later. I mean, amazing. We've got somebody with 21 subscribers and already got a deal under contract. Amazing. I've seen somebody take 9 months to get their first deal. And you know what? They're crushing it now. Crushing it. A complete compound snowball effect, just, avalanche, whatever it is you want to call it. But you know what? They didn't quit during that 9 months. And it's taken off for them now. More of the average is 3 to 5 months, I would say, is more of the average. But we've seen it happen super fast. We've seen it happen later in the game. But ultimately, if you don't quit, you should see some success, through YouTube with your channel. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, and I don't know, it seems like we're seeing people hit this a lot sooner rather than later. It just seems like, I don't know, despite what the market is doing, there's still people out there buying and selling right now. And a lot of them are researching on YouTube, apparently. So I know we're still getting calls every day. And it's crazy, even though in this market with interest rates the way they are, with home prices still at highs and sometimes even record highs, it's just a very interesting market. A lot of agents are struggling, but the most visible agents right now are winning. So are you a visible agent? And you know what? If you're not on YouTube, then you have to be visible some other way. That means you got to be out cold calling somebody, you got to be out door knocking somebody, or you got to be out postcarding someone. We just prefer to out video people, right? And I don't even know if we're out video people, because guess what? There's a lot of videos out there right now, especially in Dallas, Texas. So all I'm focused on is making better content, getting a better reach. We're going to be testing out some new videos coming up, and so working on some new things. But other than that, there's always a lot going on. But I would say that's the ultimate hack, is to do the work and stay consistent, because with the consistency, you keep the rust off. And the longer you take in between, which is why I don't recommend batch recording for people, especially starting out. If you're a seasoned professional and you want to record all your videos like once a month, go for it. If you want to take a full day or 2 days, knock yourself out. I just don't recommend that for people starting out, because you need to develop some sort of sequence, some sort of muscle memory, and some sort of pattern that keeps you fresh. And it's a big reason why I did 3 videos a week, for the first 2 years. I was relentless on that, mainly because I wanted to gain traction as fast as possible, but also wanted as much content out there as fast as possible. Plus, I wanted to go through the reps. And I just knew creating 3 videos a week would get me through more reps than doing 2. I mean, if you think about that, that's 52 videos more than somebody doing 2 videos a week. It's 104 videos more than somebody doing 1 video a week. That's a lot. And then you add that up over a second year, that's a lot. And ultimately, that was, for me, the biggest hack, is just doing the work. So, everything else I could tell you, yeah, pretty basic, simple stuff, but people forget, and I get it. It's okay. We got a lot going on, and there's a lot going on in our lives, more distractions than ever. We're busier than ever, or we think we are. If you don't have your schedule locked down, I think you tend to get lost, and it's very easy to waste time. It was funny. I saw a reel the other day, and it was, I'll just say a spouse. It was a spouse that, it's text that, and it was a spouse telling the other spouse, like they're holding a bucket of laundry or whatever, or a basket of laundry, I should say. Tells you how familiar I am with laundry. A basket of laundry. And the meme says, me telling my spouse how I don't have time for anything, or to finish everything I want to do in a day. And then it says, also me, or also me. And they're laying on the laundry, like scrolling TikTok, just sitting there, laughing it up, And that's the thing. You get scrolling on these platforms, you can kill a half hour, an hour and a half before you know it. I mean, it goes fast. You think it doesn't because you're watching 30 and 45-second videos. It'll kill time quickly. We're gonna say
that's why
something?
I do mine on the stair stepper. I scroll on the stair stepper and it goes by really fast.
Oh yeah, you probably hate stair stepping, huh?
I hate stair stepping, so that is the way that I get through that practice every other day.
Yeah, it's not, for me, it's not even it's not the best habit, but it's typically the last thing I do before I go to bed.
Everyone needs to decompress and just like look at trash for a little while,
Well, it is, but usually because I go to sleep at 10 p.m. And by 9:30, by 9 o'clock, I'm usually hopping in the shower again, and take a shower in the morning and in the evening. Got to rinse off all that Texas heat, at the end of the day. So by 9:30, teeth are brushed. I'm showered up, I'm in bed, and I'll be like, okay, by 9:55, this phone's going. I'm putting it back across the room. I leave my phone across the room on the dresser. And it's like, we'll sit there and scroll. And I tell you what, that time just goes by so fast. You're like, oh, it's 9:55 already. But it's fun. It's something that we enjoy doing right before bed. And I, watch some funny stuff. And it is a point where I'm just like, I can't take anything anymore today. It's like, I just got to clean my mind with some trash, like you said.
Exactly.
Yeah. Clean my mind with some trash. Yeah. And it's definitely not a habit I'm proud of, but it is what it is. And it's just like, Travis makes fun of me for, cause I watch, Selling Sunset.
I always tell Christopher, it's like, when I get really overwhelmed with something like on a Saturday night or something, I'll always be like, that's what I need. I just need trash TV right now. And it's like usually Real Housewives of Salt Lake City or something like that. It's like something I don't even normally watch that I'll just throw on for the drama. We all need that from time to time.
Well, I do watch from a producer standpoint. So,
Right.
like,
Has nothing to do with the relationships,
oh
the
no,
boyfriends going from
no.
girlfriend to girlfriend.
Well, no, I was saying I think that's embarrassing actually. But
Isn't it so funny though? It's like everyone gets into the drama of it. Everyone knows the drama of it. But I get what you're saying though.
yeah,
You look at
I
kind of
prefer. I like the OC. I mean,
yes.
I love Orange County, so I like the selling the OC. But for definitely for the real estate, but all the beach shots, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I think the drama on there is I always cringe a little bit, but I do like to watch because they're real estate shows. I'm looking at how they're doing it. It's funny because I just watched selling the OC, and I count camera angle changes, and
Yeah.
literally almost
Fascinating.
every second. Like if you sit there and you say, okay, I'm going to count 1,000, 2,000 until they switch the camera, right? Until they switch to
Yep.
somebody else, and literally on the OC, I was like 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 1,000, 1,000. I mean that's how they're moving so fast. I was just
Yeah.
like, my goodness. And then yeah, even though I do love the real estate on there, they zoom through these houses real quickly,
Yep.
and usually at the beginning, of course, and then maybe they walk around in there a little bit, and you get a better look of it. And that's what I don't know. I kind of live a double life through OC real estate. Like my parents are from the OC actually, and they moved to freaking Stephenville, Texas. I have no idea. They lived in Huntington Beach. My grandma lived in Costa Mesa. My other grandma lived in Santa Ana, and I'm like, you moved to Stephenville, Texas? Like, why? I mean, I have no idea what if I would have grown up in Huntington Beach? I mean, Newport Beach. Like Newport Beach is my favorite spot in the world, I believe.
You wouldn't have a Living in Dallas, Texas channel though.
Yeah, but hey, I could have living in the OC channel. But I like that's always been my dream. I don't know. With it's just I don't want to say my dream. It's not something I'm pursuing or going after, but who knows? Maybe it's like Gary V and the Jets. Maybe it's like one of those pie in the sky. Like I'm gonna have some beachside property there. But I don't need the massive one. I like the ones like on the boardwalks, there in Newport
Mhm.
Beach, like the little
Yes,
row
I love
homes.
those little the little houses, all the different colors and everything.
So for me, I don't know. I think like selling the OC, that show with real estate focused on the OC. It's like I don't know. I live vicariously with. I always think, man, that would be so cool to be living in that perfect weather environment,
Mhm.
sunny skies, beach. Showing 10, $15 million homes. I mean, but yeah, it's not something I'm working towards or going after. But that's why I like the show. But also, I am watching for the producer side. Like, I'm just curious.
Mhm.
We're not going to get into that type of production or anything like that. But I'm just curious to kind of see how they do it. And this, I just thought this last season, I thought was just a little too much on really, really fast movements. So it was just interesting. Buying Beverly Hills, I thought I like the guy on there, Mauricio, who runs the agency. I think he's really cool, level-headed, and clearly just, I mean, a beast. But then they have to throw in the politics in there and the drama, and I don't like that. It is. I think it is kind of embarrassing. I don't know. I just can't imagine. And Sergant is now going to do Owning Manhattan,
Yes.
right, on
Yes.
Netflix. And I saw the preview for that, and it looks like they are spicing up the drama for that one. And I'm just thinking, man. I mean, if Netflix asks me, you better believe I'm saying yes. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I would not want to be the agent. That's why I probably wouldn't be an agent on the show, is because I wouldn't want to be involved in all that drama. I'm just not a fan
I
of
don't
it.
know, Levi. You're a pretty dramatic person. I think that it would be hard.
Yeah, but we got people. I mean, there's people that come after us all the time and talk smack, and I just don't engage because I'm not not interested. I think, you know, the people that do that are so petty and
Oh yeah.
and act like little brats that why would I engage with that? And the last thing I want to do is get into online fighting or arguments or beef or anything like that. I'm like, I could care less. They can talk all the smack they want. Uh, you know, the only reason people find them anyways is because they find us first. And so, you know, and I know all the opportunity we have, all the training programs we're doing, you know, the partnerships that we have in place, the book, the speaking opportunities. So, you know, it's real easy. It's real easy to see who's winning and why other people would attack that, you know, that's the case with anybody that's successful. You know, it doesn't matter. You talk to, you know, Pineda and these guys we work closely with and Brunson and, you know, they have the same thing, you know, people coming after them. And it's just, you know, people who are whatever, you know, the case is, it's like, whatever, but I still would not want that kind of drama, I think, associated around my brokerage. I think that would be a little painful to watch. But then again, I don't know, these guys they're still selling $20 million homes and $30 million homes. So it's not, you know, it's not shutting them down any. So Memphis, Tennessee, Living says, hello, Levi and Chrissy. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you as well. Thanks for joining us today. But, you know, I think I want to kind of wrap it up on that, which is just do the work. I mean, that's what you really have to do. That's the hack. Do the work, stay consistent, outwork everyone else, outlast everyone else, and then outperform everyone else with getting better, you know. And that's, if you outwork everybody, you're going to win. If you outlast everybody, you're going to win. I mean, if you just stick with it, most people are going to quit. You're going to see someone come out 2, 3, 4, 5 videos, and then all of a sudden they're going to die off. I've seen some good channels that aren't posting anymore. You know, they gave up for whatever reason. So I don't know. And if you outperform, if you get better at your craft and other people stay the same, you're going to win. So outwork, outlast, outperform, and you'll be okay. You know, and again, it does come down to personality. So have a little bit of personality on your videos. Don't overdo it, but, you know, be you. And that's what's going to attract people and, you know, make it a fun experience. So that's all I got for today. What do you got? Anything else, Chrissy?
You said it perfectly. I mean, be yourself. I mean, if you lean into that authentic voice, that's what sets you apart. And then, of course, doing it consistently over time. You can't lose when you do that. So
there you go. Challenge.passiveprospecting.com if you want to be part of our 5-day challenge. Also, you can check the description or the show notes, get your copy of Passive Prospecting, the book, if you want. And also, if you're interested in partnering with us at EXP, we also have a link in the description for that. So you can always book a call. Happy to discuss with you about your business and see if, you know, maybe partnering with us would be a good fit for you or for us. We don't say yes all the time. We want to work with good agents, but yeah, you can always book a call and see if we're going to be a good fit to work with each other. And of course, you get access to everything that we have. And until next time, I guess we hope to see you on YouTube.
Bye.
Awkward pause until the live stream ends. Oh, wait, I got to hit end stream. I didn't hit it.